I'm gonna leave that in, actually.
No,
Hello,
yeah,
everyone.
sure.
Welcome to the Zero Coach Show. I'm your host, Saeed, and in my company today, we've got Han.
Hello.
We're gonna get him to introduce himself in a little bit, but of course, we have to start this off with the question of the day, which today is not actually going to be that silly. It's a little bit disappointing, but I'm curious. It's gonna be related to our actual episode. What do you think is the video game that you've watched the most of over your entire life? Watched. YouTube,
Ooh,
Twitch, video content. What have you watched the most of?
like gaming based video
Yeah.
content. Ooh.
What game?
Ooh, okay. Wait, hold on. I gotta think it over. Like
What's your short list?
my short list. Okay, probably Minecraft or Terraria.
Hmm.
Because the amount of guides that I've watched on making stuff in those games, like how to do things, especially Terraria. Oh my God. Like I'm literally like I've rewatched the same three videos like 10 times because it's like a build guide on a character, or like
Right.
how to
Sure.
build, like straight up.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay. And then I got
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
it's
Well,
exactly
pause.
that.
Pause.
It's like hold up right there. Okay, so I need that build. Hold on, let me write that down. Okay, do I have those pieces? Okay, yeah, I can craft it.
That's
It's like,
respectable.
yeah,
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and say I think mine's Minecraft.
yeah.
I watched a lot of Team Fortress 2, but if you're talking, if I'm talking, it's my question. Over my entire lifetime, the amount of times I've gone back to Minecraft at like various points of my childhood and youth, it's probably Minecraft. I mean, you start with like
Yeah,
the first gen of the Minecraft YouTubers that got popular, like
Sky is
Sky's
Minecraft.
Minecraft,
Yeah,
Advent of
literal.
Captain Sparkles, and then
Like
you get a little
Husky
bit,
Mudkips,
yeah,
Deadlocks, stuff like
you
that. It
Baby
was mostly Sky is
Canadian.
Minecraft for me. Yeah.
You get a
Mm.
little bit older, and you're like, hey, I'm a thinking man. I'm a little bit more interested in ethos. I like to know a little bit more about Redstone. Might watch some mumbo jumbo,
Dude, Mumbo Jumbo. I
and then
watched him
like
all the time.
5 years down the line, you're like, you get roped back into like Dream Minecraft manhunts and stuff like that.
I have not seen any Dream content yet.
It's pretty good. I'd recommend
Yeah,
it.
no, I've
Yeah.
heard my friend is like going crazy over Technoblade
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I hear he's like pretty smart or something like that.
Well, good question.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
As
good.
asked by myself. Let's
Yeah,
get
that was a
Han
pat on the
to
back right
introduce
there.
himself a little bit. There's no criteria on the introduction. You can talk
Just
about whatever you want. If you would like to introduce your family life, your childhood drama, your hobbies, schooling career, work career, I don't care. Introduce yourself.
yeah. I'll talk about my one night stand with my uncle.
Oh,
Yeah.
a classic. He tells us at every dinner party.
Classic.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So I was 7 and sorry.
Yo, can I
Sorry.
monetize
I'm
this?
just Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You can actually put it as like family friendly.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah,
Child
because
friendly
it's
content. It's
yeah,
for
I
children.
mean it's
It's for
all in the
children.
family, you know.
Yeah.
It's like keeping the bloodline pure.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. Hey guys, I'm Han, also known as Honest Lee on multiple different social media platforms. I am a streamer and or YouTuber who creates variety content. For the most part, what should I say? I'm 19. I'm single, ready to mingle. I'm not single
Okay,
anymore.
wait,
Shit.
hold on. I gotta send a text real
Sorry,
quick.
sorry. Yeah. Anyways, bring it back. But on a more serious note, I started making content when I was 12 or something
Oh,
like that.
I didn't know
So
that.
I've low-key been making content for almost 8 years, very on and off, because there's no way anyone who is in elementary and or high school would ever consistently make content unless they're crazy. No offense to crazy people, but you know,
None
um,
taken.
yeah. I started due to not for any particular reason. I was just really into recording myself. I like hearing myself talk. I'm great. I love my
Relatable.
voice. Yeah, right? Like, when I get commented on my voice, they're like, man, you should do jazz radio. I'm like, yeah, I should do jazz radio. Minecraft content time. Let's go.
Jazz radio, very specific.
Jazz radio. It's a weirdly specific thing that I get like asked about. It's like it's just one
Sure.
of those. Yeah, sure. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, why not? It's just or like audiobooks, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like that kind of yeah.
Ever been asked
Just
to
a
do a
very
podcast?
not until today.
Not until right now,
Aha.
baby.
Yeah. I mean, probably, but I just ignored all the other requests. Just part of that streaming life. Yeah. More stats wise, so yeah, I started making content when I was around 12 or so. I mostly made Minecraft and or Yu-Gi-Oh content because those were the two things I was really into. I did not have any classes or courses that I took to learn more about making videos or anything. I just
Mm.
kind of picked it up off of YouTube videos and just messing around with things on my own. Currently, I think on YouTube I have about 520 or so subscribers, and on Twitch I think I'm at about 1.4 thousand followers, which is not too bad. I started Twitch around like last year, so for a year's time, I'm doing all
Mm.
right. Yeah, and that brings me to here, where I'm currently on a gap year from university to try and make it big as a content creator.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's actually some stuff in that introduction I didn't know, and I'm probably gonna press on that a little bit, but it does tie
Don't
into
ask
some of the
about Uncle Joey,
questions.
please. Like, please.
Don't ask about what?
Don't ask about my uncle.
Oh,
Trust me.
I mean,
Yeah,
I know
yeah, it's a
about
sore
that one.
spot. I
Yeah.
mean, it's still sore.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
physically. I mean,
yeah.
yeah,
Like, he left a deep impression
yeah,
here and here and
yeah.
yeah.
Friday. Okay, well, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there.
Sorry,
This is a family friendly show.
Mhm. Just need to hydrate with my branded mug.
Is that yours?
Yeah, it is actually. Even this mouse pad here is also mine.
What? Yo, show it up.
Oh yeah, goddamn! You're gonna make me put in the work to showcase my
Yeah,
honest branded.
we're plugging 6 minutes in.
True. All right, hold up. I have a lot of stuff.
Oh, it's the big boy.
It's the chunk.
I couldn't see it from the. Oh. Who designed that?
Me?
Oh.
Yeah, I make all my stuff
Huh.
from the ground up. So my merch, my art, my profiles, my videos, everything.
That's a lot of stuff we can plug later. Love
Yeah.
that. I have
Yeah,
no merch
yeah.
actually. I don't even design my own shit. I got my girlfriend to do that for me. Um, so the
Have
first
fun.
question, okay, the first
Yeah.
thing we want to talk about is your experience with streaming. Obviously, we're gonna delve deep into that before we move on to just talking about streaming in general. You've already described a little bit with where you're at in streaming, but I want to ask a little bit more specifically, like, what is the situation like now? What's the schedule? Do you have a consistent schedule? If you want to talk about income, you can talk about that a little bit. Like,
Yeah,
give me the okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I'm talking about.
Dude,
There. Give me the
oh.
specifics.
I literally before like I get deep into it, so I have a set of notes, like Google Keep or like notes or whatever. I have an entire like category or label of just content stuff, and 60% of it is all related to income or like where I'm at
Really
or like stuff like that. Yeah.
interesting.
Like I don't know, it's something like I started doing because part of what I'm trying to like delve into content wise is literally like anything that just picks your brain all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like the stuff that like you're like in the shower like taking a fat dump, and you're
In the
just
shower?
like
Wait,
not in that way.
wait, hold on.
yo.
Backtrack.
No, not at the same time.
Okay, right, sure.
Ideally, I mean, like if you end up taking, stay clean.
Yeah.
But I totally like lost track. But like just like little things that like pick your brain all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to like remember as many of those that would pique my interest and just like jot it down. So I have
Yeah.
a whole bunch of things relating to exactly this question.
Okay.
But yeah, so where I'm at with streaming, my income, let's talk about that. Sure. In terms of my situation right now, I'll talk like a little bit about context before and up to like now, because originally I was only doing YouTube. Obviously, Twitch didn't exist for a while,
Mm-hmm.
which is fair. I think technically I started messing around with videos around when YouTube first came out, actually, because like it just had a sudden like not resurgence, but just a surge of like people interested in YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Who wasn't? So I just like stole my dad's like YouTube account and just made random videos here and there, like little Lego and stop motion and
Hmm.
drawing things,
Hmm.
right? Just all things kids do. Um, and I found out later, actually, my mom's a reporter, so maybe I get that from her. Just like talking in front of
Sure.
a
Yeah.
screen sort of thing. Sure, yeah, maybe. Um, but I just got more and more interested in making videos, or there was something about it that I just like literally could not leave.
Yeah.
So like I'm at the point where like if I'm gonna say literally so much, but I I had an interesting moment. Sorry, I'm going off on tangents, but I had an interesting moment where I was with my girlfriend. We were just hanging out, and then all of a sudden she screams. She like backs away. She's like, "Ah, there's a bee on your nose!" Right, and I'm like, "Oh!" Cross my eyes. I'm like, "There's a bee on like literally sitting on my glasses." My first instinct, I'm like, "Get my phone, get my camera, start recording." It's like, yeah. And she's like, "No, what?" And she stopped me. So I'm like, okay, fine. Stay. Hey guys. And I literally filmed it until it started climbing onto my actual face. And then I stopped.
That's how you know. That's how you know
Yeah.
you're living the content
I
life.
like instinctively I try to maximize any of my like prime enjoyment or what I think is going to be most entertaining, and I save it for content.
Yeah.
Like because that's literally been most of, yeah, for like a good portion of my life now. Obviously I wasn't super consistent in the very beginning. Nobody is. I just like tried making video here and there, and then like 3 months later I'd like post another one and it'd
Yeah.
be super different
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
better.
Completely unrelated.
Yeah, right, like not related at all. And then there'd be like 1 month where I'd like consistently post videos and like it almost feels like it's something. I have had a few successes in very random categories. I had a random Overwatch video takeoff where like there's an in-game piano and I tried to play Undertale like
Mm.
Megalovania
Yeah.
using Overwatch's
Yeah.
in-game piano.
And the worst map in the game. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I have a few videos which have like over 10,000 views. Like one video with like almost 24, which is just like Yu-Gi-Oh deck profiles, like just how to
Hey,
make this specific
there's a
deck.
niche market for
it's
that.
it's a niche market. I know I could totally become successful, but that is too expensive of a hobby.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely.
Oh my god. One card out of 40 cards is like 100 to 300 bucks. I can't, man.
It's like that with Pokemon too. Like you get deep
Oh yeah, for sure.
into the trading card game, and it's like I know
Oh
this
yeah.
would be like strategically a good card to add, but like I have to go buy it on eBay from some dude, some
Right,
sketchy dude
like
for like 200
or
bucks for
like
the
a
one card.
specific site
Yeah,
meant only for like buying cards. Yeah,
not worth
too
it.
much. Uh, but anyways, I like later on realized, I think, like in high school, you always when you start making videos or mess around with content, you're always like, I want to make it big in this. Like this is it for
Of
me,
course. Yeah,
and
of
you don't
course.
really mean it. I mean, like
No.
you're like it'd be nice if you could.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
that's really what you're saying.
You mean it in the same sense that's like when I grow up, I'm gonna be big and I'm gonna be famous and rich. It's like yeah, like
True.
you
Yeah.
want
Like
to, it's a dream,
that'd be
but
nice. That's that's what it is. Or like I want to have a massive, massive income.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, income.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
oh I saw where you were going with that, but
Anyways,
anyways,
yeah. In university, I went through my first year. I messed around with streaming a little bit. Didn't really think too much of it. Um, but what I was trying to go for my major, which was at the time comp sci, I found out I really didn't enjoy. Or like even more than that, rather than I didn't enjoy it, because I've messed around with programming and coding. Actually, in Minecraft, I learned everything there
mm,
was to know about Minecraft command blocks for a while. I got to the point where I created a MMORPG inside of the game, which
you're
was
one of
actually
those
really cool.
guys.
One of those
One of
guys,
those
yeah.
guys
Like
with
I was really
30,000
into
karma.
SAO, and I had Minecraft, and I put the two together. It was actually pretty fun. Yeah, I
You
had
are
like a
literally that dude in the Minecraft subreddit.
yeah,
Just I made
yeah,
this with Minecraft command blocks.
yeah. Yeah, it was. Oh man, it was a lot of fun. I like had friends try it out too. Like I had, like I learned how to make a server and all that. I'd invite people. I recorded it as content as well.
Of course.
SAO and Minecraft. Stuff like that. Clout, clickbait. But once I got to university, and tried out programming, which I did more because I knew I was good at it and also it would make money. I found that I really could not see myself doing that for the rest of my days, you
Mm.
know? Because goddamn, that is like pain. I have a friend who is in like that category comp sci, and he lives for it. Like he obsesses over it every day, or like in his free time, he's just making programs.
Yeah.
Like that's his thing. Like that's his life. And that's not for me. I could not do that. So I just kept going back to content, and I decided after that first year I was gonna go for a full time. So speed up a little bit. I started doing Twitch streaming consistently. Started trying to work on YouTube videos more consistently as well, trying to up the quality because I'd been paying for Adobe, the whole stock, for like multiple years now, and that's a
Yeah.
lot of money.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that student accounts were a thing. Whew, goddamn.
That's me in the
Uh,
previous 3 months not
yeah.
recording any podcast.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
paying
Like
for this.
you use it for like a few days and then it's gone,
Yeah.
or like you don't need it anymore, but you can't not have it. Yeah. Um, so where am I at right now? Currently, I openly said to like my family and friends, I'm gonna spend my time, like for a year, trying to do what I can to become a professional in, this field in content creating. And whether or not I don't, I would rather go 110% while I'm still young and youthful, um, doing what I want to do. And afterwards, if I don't make it or if I feel like it didn't work out so well, I'll still have no regrets. So
Yeah.
might as well, right? Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I,
So
that's I think really commendable.
thank you.
There's I think it's pretty common advice that like streamers and stuff, content creators
Mhm.
give to people that are wanting to try. It's like, let's be honest, we're really lucky and privileged to be able to make that choice, but
Yeah.
make the most of it, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
who's going to say, oh, I'm privileged in that I'm able to take a year out from school and do this, but
Mm.
I'm not going to, simply because morally, like, I recognize that, like, I have the opportunity to. Like, no,
Yeah.
you want to
Like,
take that chance, so you don't
yeah,
feel any
it's
regrets if
it's
it
a
doesn't work out.
risk.
Yeah.
It's a risk, and like there's definitely a lot of drawbacks. Like realistically, it would be smarter for me to like, go through, graduate, have a diploma, and then start, streaming or doing whatever, which is fine. I'm not opposed to that idea either. I actually kind of enjoy school when I'm not crying over assignments and whatnot.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's something that I'd rather take the risks now and just attempt. And then I can always like go back to university or something
Yeah.
later. It'll always be there.
Yeah.
But yeah. So currently I've been streaming for a year. Started out small, didn't really know what was going on. Didn't know what Twitch was actually. I just knew it was valuable for YouTube. So I wanted to help the
Mm.
build together. Like if I'm
Right.
gonna record, might as well stream it live for
Yeah,
content
yeah, yeah,
anyways.
yeah.
Yeah. Found out streaming works pretty well with me. I enjoy interacting with people directly, and it kind of popped off. In terms of income, based on how I make, a little interesting thing about Twitch, followers mean nothing.
Mhm.
Like absolute jack. You could have like 100 followers and be making more money than someone with like 10,000.
Yeah.
It's like it's more about viewer average, and then like I suppose super fans. One of my fellow streamers called them super fans. You can call them like people that are loyal or just fans in general. People that recognize you as like an identity or content itself and want to pay
Hmm.
because that's value to them.
Yeah.
You know?
That makes a lot of sense when it's
Right.
put like that.
Yeah, for sure. So currently what I'm doing is I'm trying to create content that rather than featuring like games or like the content or the category itself, it features myself as like an
Mm.
identity. I'm essentially marketing myself as like a brand or as
Yeah.
a name, right? Because I feel like that'll be worth more in the long term.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, right. It's like the slowest way though.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I've had a couple different successes in my like 1 year of streaming so far. Obviously I made it to over 1,000. That was really cool. I've had a few interactions with larger streamers or content creators. Like I was primarily doing one game, Apex Legends, and I got super popular. That was my main game. I played it essentially like multiple hours a day. I was going like competitive. I made it to I think like diamond, which in Apex is like top 4%, which is, commendable. So I got to interact with some cool streamers. I know a few like top tier competitive players. I know a couple YouTubers with like 100,000 or more subscribers on
Hmm.
YouTube, which is really awesome. And then I stopped playing because just one, competitive games always have a burnout, and two, having done the one game for so long, I realized that my content, rather than it being about me, it became more about the game itself.
Yeah.
So when I stopped streaming that and do something else, like a different game, there's like nobody. My viewers would go from like 30 or 40 down to like 10
Yeah.
or 2, which is okay. But then it like really kind of culls the people that are there more for the game than myself, which I like realized I'm trying to change the direction of my content.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I have a question that's
Sure.
we're now not at all on track in terms
Mhm.
of the run of the show, but that's
Mhm.
okay because what we're
So,
talking about is interesting, and that's the only thing that's important. Do you think there's a merit to building a fan base, quote unquote, around certain games that you're streaming, and then use that as a gateway towards gaining super fans that are there for your personality? Because like an example I would give, I don't watch too many streamers. I do prefer, I think, YouTube content, just because scheduling school, work, stuff like that. Like I'm not usually able to see things live. But like let's take Shroud, huge streamer.
Mhm.
Originally was, I mean, he was popular in CS:GO,
Yeah,
but he
for
was a
sure.
pro player in CS:GO. And then when he transitioned out of that game, he already had a lot of people recognize him as a really good player, and it turns out he's actually just mechanically really good at every game, right? So people
Mhm.
now started staying for his gameplay, his, I say personality, but kind of one of the jokes about Shroud is that he doesn't say or do anything. He
Yeah,
just plays games and he's really
he's
good.
very neutral.
Yeah, he's very neutral. But people are still there for him, right? No longer
Mhm.
really there for the game. Like, do you think that's a potential strategy you could look at if you can draw in more people from playing and dedicating yourself to one game, and then hopefully a percentage, a proportion of them stay for you?
Right. I mean, for sure. Like, obviously, a lot of streamers do. A lot of content creators in general do it. One like super easy, or like not super easy, but like a good example, I guess, would be um relate to like offline TV and friends. Saikuno and Disguised Toast.
Mm, yes.
Disguised Toast originally was just a pure Hearthstone streamer. That's all everyone knew him for. He got famous because of things he did there. And then he took that and branched off into doing other content. Also because Hearthstone is at this moment totally crazy. Like it's not good. Uh, it's a good game, but like there's a lot of stuff going on. He also did like Among Us nonstop,
Yeah.
but that's like a whole different like resurgence. Saikuno, actually, I found this out more recently. He started out by doing live commentary
Mhm.
on League of Legends gameplay and like
Oh.
character builds or like
Huh.
how to play. Yeah, and so he had a channel before the official Saikuno channel where he purely just did that one like commentary over games and like strategies and guides and all that. And then he took that and became the sensation he is now,
Yeah.
which I'm like, which is for sure like definitely a way. And I would totally do it if I had that kind of like that main game I could stay with for that amount of
Mm,
time. I would make it Apex because I do still enjoy the game. I actually love it a fair bit. There's a lot of content that's really fun, but
but
something about the game, yeah, it's more just like myself. I can't. I can no longer like handle doing that single game for like an unforeseeable amount of
you
time.
just can't
Like,
grind it.
yeah,
Apex is just
like
not the game for you to grind.
I have over 1,000 hours in my like 2 3 years of playing it consistently, which is, I know other people have more, but for me
Yeah,
that's
it's a
like the longest
significant
I've
amount.
had.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like it's very tiring, especially when like most of those hours were just pure competitive content or like gameplay.
Yeah.
Like I've gotten burned out.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can
yeah.
know.
Well, I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, Apex compared to even some other games like, what are some other big streamer games? Like, I think of Overwatch, which is not a huge streamer game at all. It's
No.
dead, but it has both competitive gameplay, and there's also things like the workshop, right, that allow you
Yeah.
to do more creative
Custom
stuff.
games workshop
Custom
is a
games,
lot of
stuff like
fun.
that. And Apex doesn't really
No,
have any of
they
that.
could totally have it. Like there would be so many people would be
They
interested.
could. They only somewhat recently added the arenas game mode.
Yeah,
And, like that's like you could have added
It's-
that ages ago.
Yeah,
well,
for
had
sure.
nothing but BR for
Mhm. Yeah.
2 years or so. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah,
the
they
timeline.
only had like 3-person like battle royales for the longest time. But yeah,
Makes sense.
Like,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Let's. I want to rein it back a little bit to like kind of
sure.
similar to the original question.
Mhm.
So you've answered the first part of this question, which was going to be, are you committed to streaming as like a primary source of income, as the main thing you want to do? The answer is yes. Maybe you've answered the second part of this question a little bit already, but I'm gonna ask it again. When did you make that decision? How did you know that was the time for you? You're like, I enjoy this. Whether it was I enjoy this, I don't enjoy anything else, and I want to do this, or like, oh yeah, I feel it. I feel like I could make it big, or I feel like this is truly what I want to do in life. You said you only started streaming about a year ago, right? So when did you make that decision to go all in on this and make it your primary source of income? Whatever your goal is.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Sure. I'll answer it in 2 parts then. First part being like, how did I make the decision? Second part being the income stuff, because that's always fun to hear. Like streamers, how they make money, how much they make.
Yeah.
In terms of how I like made the decision, overall, like I'm gonna say this with like full on ego, I'm pretty good at everything. Like overall, I'm confident that if I applied myself to something, which can be said about anyone, but
Sure.
if I like chose to apply myself to anything, I would be able to become quite adept at it within a short period of time. And like that's based on personal experience. Like I do pretty well in science, math, arts. I've done all of them. Yeah.
That's good confidence to have. The
Right.
ability to learn
Like,
and improve.
Yeah, like and then I use that confidence to help like fuel it further. In terms of how like the decision specifically, I did make that when I was like in university in that first year, and I was struggling, and like realizing that like even with like all the potential that I have, if it's not really what I want overall, then I'd rather put like that potential or like that talent and resources into the one thing that I just seem to keep coming back to and seem to just enjoy more and more.
Yeah.
Like it turned from a side hobby into like a full-fledged. I went ahead and like bought professional equipment for myself.
Yeah.
I started like upping my game, working on video editing. Like it just grew to so much more than I realized it was at the time, like from when I was 12 to the point where I realized this is what I want. Like it's become an integral part of my life and I want to keep going with it.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I just went ahead and did that. In terms of the primary source of income,
Yeah, do you
like
want to
choosing
talk
to do
about
it.
that a little bit?
Oh yeah, for sure. There are a few streamers. I know a lot of people don't like to talk about their personal income because it can make viewers feel bad. I don't have that many viewers anyways. It's not a big deal. But it's very versatile. I would love to make streaming my primary source of income, but it's very vulnerable to so many outside factors
Of course.
because obviously depending on the viewer base, there's only so much money people can give. Streaming and videos themselves are free. A lot of people don't want to pay in the first place, right? So the content needs to feel really worthwhile, or the person themselves has to feel worthwhile to like donate to.
Yeah.
Prime example for me would be Michael Reeves. I love his content so much. He could take a dump and I would probably give him money for that. Like it's just, him as an icon or him as an individual.
Michael Reeves, super fan.
Super fan right here. Yeah, actually, he started streaming like at 3 a.m. one day. I like hopped in and then like subbed, and just for the sake of like, like I didn't even expect. I didn't realize like I was that kind of viewer.
Yeah.
Until like that happened, and like I'm like I really do want to like. It's so worthwhile for me to see my name and him say thank you.
Yeah.
Like it was somehow like so. It's weird. It was like. Weirdly worthwhile. And then
endorphins.
He walked out as my sub came on. So
Okay.
which is great.
Shit, there goes your serotonin rush.
Yeah, there it
Tragic.
goes. I'm like, damn. I subbed later and he said it though, and I clipped that and it was good. Yeah. But in terms of my own personal income, um, Twitch is a lot like an internship or like an investment. Like the amount of hours I've put in terms of streaming probably is over 1,000 hours. Like
Mhm.
relative to like it's more than how much I've played Apex because like those two
Yeah, yeah,
were
yeah.
very coincided.
Yeah, of
Like
course, that
I
makes sense.
streamed and played and grew with Apex and streaming roughly at the same time. Um, for all those 1,000 hours, my average wage, if you thought about it like per hour, would have been something like 20 cents or so.
Yeah, if you
It
average it
which
out
is
over
like
the whole,
yeah, if
yeah.
you average it out, it could be. It depends on the month though. Like so first like I would say 8 months, nothing. Um, like I slowly built up over time until I made about 100 and I could finally cash out,
Right.
which is like great. Took 8 months for that first
For
hundo,
that one to come in, of
but like hey, that's like the start.
course.
And then I had this one moment where I was at about 300, 400 followers and I blew up. And across the next 2, 3 months, I skyrocketed to over 1,000 followers.
Hmm.
During that time, I had a couple big events. I do certain things for fun, like challenges or like wear a maid outfit and canyons or like costume stuff like that, which is all,
Classic.
all in good fun. I'm comfortable doing it. Not like super, like not that,
Not
kind
that
of
comfortable,
but
but
it's always a lot of fun. Viewers love it. And I ended up making from 100 to like 200 to like 500. And for like a month or two, I was making like 800 US a month, which in Canada is a sizable, like almost the regular income, which is great.
almost, yeah.
Right now, it's like done a huge dip. I had a few weeks where I was inconsistent, and that like on its own
Mm.
created a huge divide, and like a lot of viewer retention just went out,
Yeah, yeah,
which is
yeah.
also a really scary thing for streamers. That's why some of them just can't do anything else but stream,
Of course.
which is like fair. Which also kind of goes to show how much like having viewers who are just there for content rather than the person themselves shows how easy, how
You
fickle,
lose it.
like yeah, you lose it
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
immediately. Like
yeah.
I have 1.4 thousand, and even now, like in this month so far, my viewer average is maybe 10 when it was at one point like 30, 40,
Yeah.
like which is a big jump. I'm not opposed to it because I know like most of those 10 are like core fans who are like almost always there. I always see their name. It's great to have them there.
Yeah.
But it does show and reflect a lot. And my income right now, I think for like the past 2 months, I actually didn't reach the full 100 marker even.
Mm-hmm.
Like I hit like 90 or like 95
Sure.
or something, which is like fine, like not a big deal. But yeah, like the income varies a lot. There's like I guess in a way it's like active income, right? Income you have to consistently work for hourly in order to make your wage versus like passive income, which would be through YouTube. YouTube, I don't make any money actually because the I still haven't hit the requirements for
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like watch
You
time.
need like 10,000 hours of watch time and then 1,000 subs. I think the 10,000 or no, not 10,000 hours, 10,000 views, and you need that within a month.
Yeah.
So haven't hit those yet. It happens. I haven't posted in like 3 months anyway. So
Happens.
but yeah. So uh, I would totally want it as a primary source of income. With content creating, I say content creating rather than just streaming because I'm not going to hold myself to just one category. I would not be able to do what I wanted to do for a living if I only relied on streaming. I have to like diversify my income, I have different streams.
Sure.
So, yeah, Twitch, YouTube, merchandise, Instagram, like sponsors. Let's see. Yeah, like I did a lot of research, not like dream levels or like Tommy Innit levels, but I did enough where like I know the ins and outs and I just need to apply myself in order to make it happen. It's
It's a
just a
good spot
matter
to
of
be.
time.
Good spot to be
Yeah,
in. Yeah.
thank you.
And when did you? This is a quick one, super quick one. When did you
Mhm.
commit to the 1 year kind of time span?
That was more like for me personally, I'd like to work on it for more than a year,
Of course.
but that was more the acceptable like starting point. Like I
Mm.
need to create something that I can feature and show that like I have gone from just being a novice or just being a fan or a viewer to being an actual professional
Hmm.
within that year's time to prove or demonstrate that I can continue.
Sure. So you want to reassess the
So,
situation maybe 8, 9, 10 months in
yeah,
and see
for
like,
sure.
is this something I want to continue with? What's the
Right.
return
Yeah.
on investment here? Okay.
Yeah.
Um, let's look at the time here. Which one do I want to go with next? I want to know about people around you and
Mhm.
how they've reacted to your commitment to the streaming journey. Now, it doesn't have to be family because it's such a typical question to be like, "Do your parents support you?" But your
Yeah.
friends, right? Did you have friends that have been really really supportive of you throughout the journey? Did you have friends that were not supportive of you and they're like, "Bro, like everyone wants to be a streamer nowadays, right?"
Right.
Do you is it a core part of your daily life, your personality that you talk to people that you meet? Because I know for
Mhm.
me, like I game casually. I don't,
Yeah.
not trying to go anywhere with it. I just game for
Right.
fun. But if someone's asking me like, hey, let's get you to write a bio, a quick introduction for this university class, right, and just post it on this like public, forum and everyone can see just to get to know each
Right.
other. Like I don't usually put, I game about 3-4 hours a day. I sweat over Valorant every night. Like that's
Right.
not something I want to be associated with necessarily. So how has streaming taken over those parts of your life? Those parts of your life.
Yeah, so in terms of like family, friends, coworkers, for the most part, everyone surface level wise is supportive because
Surface level wise.
surface yeah,
They say
because
that.
like right, because I'm saying that I have a dream and a passion that I want to pursue, and no one's really going to knock
Of
that
course,
because it's
yeah,
like, respect, like,
that's true.
you're taking the time, you're putting in the hours, you've made money. That's a big one for
That
people.
is,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, like that was like that was the thing that helped my parents feel okay with supporting me with, because up until that point I was like 8 months in and there was nothing going
Of
on.
course, of
Actually,
course.
like 10 months or so. And then once I started there, I had like a deep conversation and like they were asking like, am I okay with doing this consistently? Like, I'm putting in all this time, I'm gonna be losing like a year's more of university, and I'm like, I'm okay with that. They're like, you need to make money, like, are you gonna be able to support yourself? I'm like, guys. They're like, how much money did you make? I'm like, I made like 900 this month. They're like, okay,
Oh, okay.
great.
Well,
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
at it.
All
Great job.
right. Good luck. Kudos.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of my friends, I'll just do a quick summary. A lot of them who have known me for a long time know that I've been continuously doing this for a while. So they're just
Sure.
like, yeah, it's about time. Like, yeah, I mean, surprised you didn't like say it sooner, or
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought you were
yeah.
always doing it. Right. A lot of the other friends who are more outside that circle, I think they're in the mindset where like, oh yeah, everyone wants to be streamer, YouTuber. We'll see.
Yeah,
Like, that's
we'll
cool. Good
see.
luck.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be like actively supporting me. They're not gonna check me out or anything. But
No.
like they'll drop a follow. It's like it's like adding someone on Instagram. Like, you don't really care. You just add
Yeah,
them. You're like,
yeah.
yeah, I support you, but I'm also like just gonna be doing my own thing. I don't
Yeah.
really care. Yeah, that's the rest of them. Coworkers, I guess for like my recent work, like I mentioned this to a few of them. It was actually part of my application to work. I
Mm.
mentioned that I was doing content creating, and I used that as practice for social skills and interacting with people.
Yep.
And like I essentially took what a lot of people can consider like kind of silly or maybe not like reliable or professional, and used it to apply for, a job, for work, and like demonstrated all the valuable skill sets.
Yeah.
So like, yeah,
I can second that.
yeah. So I mean, overall, I think everyone is supportive, and I've demonstrated that I'm able to make something of myself already. Like, I don't exactly need to prove anything, and like obviously it's not like my main drive to prove that like I can do it. You didn't tell me anything,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
It's more just it's what I want to
You
do.
just know that's
And
what you enjoy
yeah,
and what you want to
like
bring
those
yourself
are
to.
yeah, and these are the stepping stones, and I'm happy that I can still show it, because who doesn't want to like show their improvement or like where they're at now.
The more I listen to you talk about this, the more I just want to say like that's a great spot to be in. You've put in the work, but not only put in the work blindly, like, oh, I spent 1,000 hours doing it. You've put in the time to kind of learn about streaming, learn about sources of income, learn about like how to better yourself as a content creator, and then you also are very clear with your goals and like where you are right now, right? I don't get the sense of like, haha, I'm streaming, but like I'm gonna make it big one day. I'm just gonna hit the lottery and Symphony's gonna raid me and I'm gonna have like 5 million viewers. Um, it seems like you're very honest with where you're at, and you've
Part of the name.
part of the brand.
Yeah.
Part of the brand, and you got a clear goal. So I don't know. That's respectable.
Thank you.
I want to ask. We're gonna skip on, I think, one question just because it's a good question, but it separates, diverges from what we've been talking, what we ended up talking about
Yeah,
in 40
sure.
minutes so far. But we'll cap off with this. My viewers, all four of them,
Mhm.
sister, other sister, girlfriend, the other person I do the podcast with. I've gotten comments that say they really like it when I do some sort of like tips at the end, or like, you know, nuggets of wisdom with people. So we're speaking to a we'll call you a medium-sized streamer. You know,
Sure.
I think
Sure.
I know people tend to think of big streamers as like, you know, top 100 on Twitch or something. But to be completely honest, I feel like a big streamer is anyone who can have it as a primary source of income.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like if
for
you have
sure.
enough people to support you financially, like you're big enough in my book.
Yeah, I would like call myself a part-time streamer. Like
Yeah.
I'm not doing it full-time, but I'm doing part-time,
Alright.
making money.
So we've got a part-time, medium-sized streamer over here who's kind of, you know, not one of those, no shots taken at the 50 friends that I have that are like, I've taken up streaming during COVID. I don't know how many of them are doing it for fun and how many of them are doing it because that's their dream and they're going to commit to it, right? Like
Right.
people who
yeah.
do that for fun, obviously, I watch them every once in a while. It's fun to tune in with friends.
Yeah.
But you're somewhere in the middle. You're not quite there. You didn't just start for funsies and you think you're going to hit the lottery, hit the jackpot. But you're not quite at the big streamer status where you're going to be able to support yourself financially completely through streaming yet. But maybe with that new sponsor we were talking about. So we're talking to a medium streamer. What advice do you have for people who want to take streaming a little bit more seriously? Try, if you can, to avoid the common boring ones. Like, you gotta set a schedule. You gotta be committed to it. You know, like anyone can tell anyone, hey, you just gotta follow your dream and like put in the work and stuff like that, right? What's
Right.
something that you've experienced in your journey that you think is either pretty specific or underrated, you know, people don't talk about it enough, or just out of left field, it's creative, it's wacky, and you're like, hey, this really worked for me. You won't believe it, but try this, and you know, you'll gain 3 followers.
Right. I mean, let's see. I guess like obviously, you know, like putting in the work is not just something you have to do. That's like the base requirement. I'm not going to go into like putting in the work.
Yeah.
That's of course that's a given. There's no way you didn't start it and not know that there was a shit ton of work ahead of
Yeah, sure.
yourself. Right. In terms of like specific things for people who want to try taking things a little more seriously, it's relative because obviously if someone wants to take streaming seriously, is it for themselves? Is it for like making their content look good, being entertaining, or is it for income? Because those are like they can be intertwined, but they're very different things.
Sure.
I know a lot of people who like say, you know, make videos or even, you know, make podcasts. It may not be for monetary reasons specifically, but it's for like entertaining and you still want to improve the overall quality.
Right.
Right. Like obviously research is, you know, a big one. There's no way I'd be able to do what I can do if I didn't like genuinely study like it was an actual course. That's a given. I would say like honestly research is like such a big part of it, but also knowing where you are, like where you are like personally or who you are, I guess. Because like you as a person have a lot to offer. Regardless of who you are, you have a lot to offer. And depending on how you approach that, whether that be you're good mechanically, so you want to like demonstrate your skills through gaming, or whether that be you have a great personality, you want to feature that. Lots of those have different aspects in terms of streaming. I can't really say how serious a person is or how like you need to take the steps to become more serious. It's more of a matter of if you're going to go further in like becoming a streamer, like becoming someone people know and being an entertainer, then part of it is knowing that you yourself will be featured essentially as a brand and as like a market. And that the entire thing, the entirety of it is a business. I shouldn't say market, it's a business. You have branding, you have like merchandise, you have the entertainment. Like the entirety of it is business that you have to build up. It can still be fun. You can still do it for fun and enjoy it. Like Saikuna says that all the time. He's just doing it for fun. It's not for work or anything. But it is something that's like approached in an entertainment industry viewpoint. And like
That makes sense.
yeah.
I think that's good advice. If I can synthesize it or try to at least, the first
Sure.
part of what you were saying is, well, you threw it back to my question, which was I originally asked, what advice do you have for people who want to take streaming more seriously, but really taking it seriously can mean a variety of different things. You could have very different goals, whether that's taking it more seriously so you can be happy with the product you put out, which I would say is probably the situation I'm at with the podcast. Not really trying to monetize it. I think it'd be cool if I get the subscriber like
It'd be
requirement
nice,
eventually
right?
on
Like,
YouTube.
yeah.
But it's really like I want to put out videos that I look at and say like, yep, I like that. That's good. I'm happy with how that one turned out. And if you want it for income, then you need to educate yourself and do research on what are sustainable like streams of income that you can have when you're doing streaming, right? Not necessarily just from donations or just from subs or just from X, Y, Z, but sponsorships, stuff like that.
Right.
The second part, I really like that, mostly because I major in business and commerce in school, so I know what you're talking about at least. But I do agree that if you are a streamer who, any content creator really, who wants to commit themselves to content creation and you keep thinking of it as completely separated from business, completely separated from the number side of things, you don't have to think about that. As long as you make good content, like, people will come to you. It's not that it's impossible, but you're missing out on things that could benefit you.
It's limiting. I
It's
think.
limiting. It's limiting. You're really hoping that you're going to be the next big thing, and people are just going to miraculously discover you in like the depths of the Twitch page, and eventually you're gonna get rated. Or
It's
something.
kind of like a pipe dream, or like it's kind of like the idea that money doesn't grow on trees. Like you can't just plant the seed, water it a few times, and be done. Like it's so much more than that. It's, I guess, like building a house.
Yeah.
You have to set the foundation, like constantly apply plaster, like know what you need to do in order to make the structure sound and stable.
Yeah.
Until you can do that, until you can build the house, you're just like thinking, yeah, the seed will grow on its own. Like I don't need to do anything else.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's cap it off there. If you have any final thoughts, speak now or forever hold your peace. I was gonna plug all the stuff for you, but if you want to do that, I think you probably have it memorized a lot better than I do. So.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I could do my own outro.
Do it.
Like, sure. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications. Whether or not he makes videos, or there are notifications, hard to say. If you want to check me out, my name is Honestly. Feel free to check it out at like twitch.tv/honestly, or honestly y on like Twitter, Instagram, stuff like that. And I suppose that's about it. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for having me, Sayu. Very much appreciated.
Socials in the description.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
See ya.